Bookish friends, welcome to another tag video. Today I'm going to do the mayofthemoderns tag, which was created by the creator of the readathon, mayofthemoderns, Margaret Pinard. Because I've watched the live show of her tag video, and she tagged everyone who was watching the video. I consider myself tagged by Margaret, and she created some questions relating to the original tag prompt. First prompt in the mayofthemoderns is war, and the question is, you've been sent back in time to 1901 until 1945 to tell one person one fact to prevent the loss of life. Who, what, when? I think I will talk to Albert Einstein, because he came up with the basic formula to create the atomic bomb. His initial intent was not to be involved in any of the politics or anything about war. But the people he shared this formula did not consider his wishes, and tragic ending of using the atomic bomb is very evident, and it is unfortunately one of the great tragedies of the 20th century. So I would tell Albert Einstein not to share the formula to those people, but only share it to the people who would use it for peaceful purposes. The second prompt is sex, a different version of, I think, kiss, marry and kill, because we are against violence. She changed the kill thing and said kiss, marry, hire, from Jane Eyre, Victorian, Prue Sarn, modern, Owen Townsend, contemporary. She says that you can replace your own choices from these eras if you don't know them, but you should get to know them. I don't know Prue Sarn or Owen Townsend, so I have to replace them because I have no idea what to say about those characters. But I will definitely get to know them, since Margaret says this to me. But I will keep Jane Eyre, and I will hire Jane Eyre because I think she's a very practical woman in every sense. She does not have to be a governess. She can be a personal assistant. I think she would excel at that job. So I would hire her to be my assistant for managing all of the readathons that I'm participating in all throughout the year. Although I think I'm doing quite well, I think a personal assistant would be helpful, of course. In the modern times, I'm choosing Gilbert from Anne of Green Gables. As far as he's described in the books, I think he's a handsome guy. But more importantly, he's a family guy, and he's sensible, and always thinks of the people in his family and his near surroundings. Who would I kiss? I would actually kiss a character from the Kiss Quotient series. I would kiss Kwan. I think he's a very kind character as well, but I think he's not the type of guy that I would consider a serious relationship. It would be good to kiss somebody who knows how to kiss, since he's the main character of a book from the Kiss Quotient series. And the third prompt is Black Classics. Name 3 events in history you didn't know until you were an adult, but should have. Although I was an avid reader in my teenage years, I only read fiction. My knowledge of history was limited to what is taught in the schools, like most of the countries. Even though I knew about Hitler and the racism, I did not know the racism was rising in all of the countries in Europe. And it was very interesting to read about how some of the biological and anthropological experiments were based on race. And I fully understand the meaning of the term kafatasçılık, which means ideas based on skull, until I knew about the existence of such experiments. The second thing that I didn't know was the existence of Indian training schools in USA. I actually learned this very recently by reading a book, The Standerland. I thought it was horrible how they tried to assimilate the Native Americans into a shape that they thought was suitable for the ordinary American people. I really had a hard time reading those scenes, and I was astonished how they could do this to little children. To end on a positive note, I did not know that one of the sultans of the Ottoman, Sultan Abdülhamid, was a big fan of detective fiction and Sherlock Holmes especially. And because he read so much, he was one of the sultans who believed in innovations. Because he was a sultan and a dictator, when you think of it, he was a very harsh sultan as well, and punished everyone who opposed what he said. But it was a very interesting fact that he liked the same things that I did. The fourth prompt is empire. And the question is, mercantilism dehumanizes. Name a recent examples of popular culture where the dehumanizing legacy of mercantilism was evident. Very interesting. I did not know what mercantilism was until I watched Margaret's video. And I thought I could find many examples of mercantilism brought out by humankind. But I wanted to say an example, a mercantilism issue brought out by a pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic, of course. I thought the doctors were dehumanized during that time period, as well as the other healthcare workers. I will talk about the doctors in my country, but I know it was the same in every country all throughout the world. The doctors at the beginning of the pandemic were forced to work with ill people without having any immunization. And because they were sort of like a target profession, they were forced to live away from their families for a very long time. And they had to stay in hotels. And many of the doctors and healthcare workers could not see their families, their children, for more than 3 months. And their paid holidays were cancelled. And it was forbidden for them to retire from the profession if they could retire. It was a very dehumanizing conditions. But unfortunately, it was brought out by a necessity, and a few of them complained about this condition. So I cannot thank enough for the healthcare professional in Turkey and everywhere around the world. The fifth prompt is other. Introduce us to a landmark near you that has been renamed or had its name reverted to its original indigenous name. I will talk about a village belonging to the Selçuk district in my hometown. The village is very close to Ephesus, and many people who visit Ephesus also do visit that mountain village because it has traditional houses. The first name that was given was Kırkınca. Kırk means 40, and it is very closely related to the 40 people who went to live in the mountains as a rebellion to the sultans, because it was essentially a village that was occupied the Greek minorities. The name then changed to Kirkice and Kirkince and finally Çirkince, which actually means a quite bit of ugly. And when the new Turkish Republic was founded and the Greek minorities had to be a part of a refugee exchange between Turkey and Greece, the Turkish minorities were settled in that village. And the mayor at that time thought that a name change should be necessary, and he changed the name Çirikince to Şirince, which means actually the opposite, a bit of cute. Even though many of the villages changed this name, I thought this was the most interesting one, and it is about a village in the district of my own city, Izmir. The sixth prompt is to tag 5 people. I'm going to tag Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, Book In with Debra, Booktime with Elvis, Brandon's Bookshelf, and Amy at Zoe Beck. I would like to know your answers to this discussion tag. I think this tag is very interesting in terms of understanding our grasp of history. And if you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of today, I'm going to choose Şirin. Şirin means cute in Turkish, and cute is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.